Imagine you are walking down a crowded street. People pass by, lost in their own thoughts, rushing to their destinations. No one looks at you. No one notices you. It feels as if you're invisible. Now, think about the last time you spent hours overthinking a conversation, replaying every word, every reaction. You worried about what someone might think of you. But the truth is, they probably forgot about it in minutes. Now, ask yourself, how often do you remember what someone else wore last week? How much time do you spend thinking about a stranger's mistake? The answer is almost never. Yet, when it comes to ourselves, we assume that others are constantly watching, judging, and caring about every little thing we do. Why do we live with this fear? Why do we let the opinions of others control our minds? Let's take a simple example. You post something online, maybe a picture or a thought. You keep checking for likes, comments, and reactions. If someone ignores it, you start wondering, did they not like it? Did I say something wrong? But in reality, people are too busy worrying about themselves to think deeply about you. The moment you realize this, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we explore deep truths that can change your life. If you are someone who overthinks, worries too much about others, or struggles with self-doubt, then this video is for you. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribed. So please, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, and drop down your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us bring more content that truly matters. The reality is simple. No one cares about you as much as you fake. This isn't a bad thing. It's a liberation. Once you understand this truth, you stop overthinking, stop living for approval, and start living for yourself. In this video, we will dive deep into why we overestimate others' opinions and how Buddhist wisdom can help us break free from this illusion. Stay with us, because what you are about to learn can change your perspective forever. The illusion of importance. Why we overestimate others' opinions. You believe that people are watching you, that they are analyzing your words, your actions, your mistakes. But the truth is, they are not. They are too busy thinking about themselves, just like you are. Think about yesterday. How much time did you spend worrying about yourself, your problems, your future? Now, how much time did you spend thinking about someone else's life, their choices, their failures? The answer is clear. You are the center of your own world, just as everyone else is the center of theirs. Yet, you overestimate your importance in their minds. You assume they care, that they notice, that they judge. But in reality, they don't. Not in the way you imagine. Let's go back in time. Do you remember a moment when you embarrassed yourself? Maybe you tripped in public, or you said something foolish. You still think about it, don't you? But do you remember when someone else did the same? Probably not. Their mistake, their awkwardness, was a passing moment to you. And yours was the same to them. But why does this illusion exist? Why do we feel as if the world is watching? It is because of the mind. The mind is self-centered. It creates stories where we are the main character, where every moment revolves around us. But this is just a trick of perception. Buddhism teaches us that attachment to the self creates suffering. And one of the biggest attachments is the belief that we are important to others. This belief keeps us trapped in fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish. But the moment you see the truth, the moment you realize that no one cares as much as you think, you are free. Free from the burden of approval, free from the prison of overthinking. Think about the sky. Clouds pass by, shifting, changing. Do they hold on to their form? Do they fear being judged? No. They simply exist, moving with the wind, detached from the opinions of others. You must become like the clouds. You must let go of this illusion. But letting go is not easy. The mind resists. It wants to hold on to its importance. It wants to believe that every action is seen, that every word is remembered. This is the ego speaking. And the ego is not your friend. Buddha taught that the ego is the root of suffering. It creates false attachments, makes you crave approval, and traps you in endless worry. But when you dissolve the ego, you dissolve the suffering. Imagine you are walking through a marketplace. People are busy, buying, selling, talking. You see a man stumble and drop his bag. For a moment, some people glance at him, but within seconds, they return to their own concerns. No one remembers. No one carries his embarrassment with them. Now, imagine that man is you. You felt that everyone saw your mistake. But did they? Or were they just passing by, lost in their own world? This is how life is. People move on. They forget. And so should you. But what about criticism? What about the words people say behind your back? Even if people judge you, even if they talk about you, how long will it last? A few minutes? A few days? And then, They will move on to something else. Their own lives, their own worries. The judgment you feared will disappear, just like footprints in the sand, washed away by the tide. And even if they remember, what does it change? Their thoughts do not shape your reality. Their words do not define you. The only thing that matters is what you do with your life. The only opinion that truly matters is your own. So let go of the illusion. Stop overestimating your place in others' minds. Stop living for approval. Live for yourself. Because in the end, the only person who will walk every step of this journey with you is you. Attachment and suffering. What Buddhism teaches about letting go. Sit down, take a deep breath, and listen carefully. You hold on to many things in life, people, opinions, possessions, emotions. You grip them so tightly that they start to control you. But what happens when you lose them? Pain, suffering, a deep feeling of emptiness. This is the truth that the Buddha realized. Attachment leads to suffering. The more you cling to things, the more pain you invite into your life. You fear loss because you believe that without these things, you are incomplete. But is that really true? Think about a time when you lost something valuable. Maybe a relationship ended, a friend walked away, or a possession was taken from you. At that moment, it felt unbearable. You thought you couldn't live without it. But look at yourself now. You are still here. Life didn't stop. The world didn't end. Why does this happen? Why does the mind create suffering over things that are not permanent? The answer is simple: illusion. The illusion that things, people, and emotions belong to you. But the truth is, nothing truly belongs to you. Everything is borrowed. Everything is temporary. Look at a tree. It stands tall, its leaves dancing in the wind. When autumn comes, the leaves fall, but the tree does not cry. It does not resist. It lets go because it knows that this is the way of life. But humans resist. They fight against the flow of life. They hold on to dead leaves, refusing to accept change. Imagine holding a rope that is burning. The longer you hold on to it, the more it burns your hand. You feel the pain, but you refuse to let go. Why? Because your mind tells you that you need that rope, that without it, you will fall. But the truth is, the moment you release it, the pain stops. This is how attachment works. You hold on to people, expecting them to stay forever. You hold on to success, fearing failure. You hold on to memories, reliving pain over and over again. But none of these things are meant to stay. Everything in life is moving, changing, flowing like a river. When you try to stop the river, you suffer. The Buddha taught that suffering comes from craving. You crave love, so you fear being alone. You crave success, so you fear failure. You crave stability, so you fear change. This endless craving traps you in a cycle of suffering. But there is a way out. A simple way: letting go. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. It means you accept life as it is, without trying to control it. When you detach from the need to own, control, and possess, you become free. Think of the sky. Clouds come and go, but the sky remains untouched. When happiness comes, enjoy it. When sadness comes, let it pass. Do not hold on to emotions like they define you. You are not your pain. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are something beyond all of this. If someone leaves you, let them go. If a dream fails, start a new one. If something is taken from you, understand that it was never truly yours to begin with. Nothing in this world is permanent. The more you accept this, the less you suffer. Look at water. It does not fight obstacles. It flows around them. It does not resist change. It adapts. Be like water. Flow with life, not against it. The greatest peace comes when you realize that you don't need to hold on to anything. You don't need to control everything. You don't need to seek validation, approval, or security from the outside world. Everything you truly need is already within you. The more you let go, the lighter you become. The lighter you become, the freer you feel. And when you are free, suffering no longer controls you. So, take a deep breath. Look at your life. What are you holding on to that is causing you pain? Is it worth it? Or is it time to finally let go? The ego trap. How self-obsession creates unnecessary pain. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe in, breathe out. Let go of everything you are holding on to in your mind. Now, listen closely. The greatest burden you carry is not what others think of you. It is what you think of yourself. You believe you are important. You believe your thoughts, your opinions, your emotions matter deeply to the world. You spend your days defending your image, proving your worth, making sure people see you the way you want to be seen. But what if I told you, this is the root of your suffering? Think of the last time you were offended. Someone said something that hurt you, ignored you, or made you feel small. Your mind clung to it. You replayed it over and over, creating stories, arguments, explanations. Why did they say that? Do they not respect me? Am I not good enough? But tell me this, why does it matter so much? Why does your mind fight so hard to protect your ego? The ego is a mask. It is the false self you have created to fit into the world. It seeks validation, control, and importance. It is the voice that whispers, you must be admired. You must be right. You must win. And because of this, you suffer. Look at the trees. Do they worry about being noticed? Do they fight for recognition? No. They simply exist. They grow, they bend, they let the wind pass through them. The river does not hold on to the water, it lets it flow. Yet, you hold on to every word, every glance, every opinion, as if they define you. The truth is, people are too busy with their own egos to think much about you. Just as you spend your time worrying about yourself, they do the same. The person who insulted you is already forgotten. The one who ignored you is lost in their own struggles. But here you are, carrying the weight of a battle that only exists in your mind. Tell me, what happens when you let go? What happens when you stop defending your ego? You become free. Free from the need to be right. Free from the need to impress. Free from the endless struggle of proving your worth. Buddha once said, you are not the drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. But if the drop tries to separate itself, if it believes it is special, different, more important than the rest, it suffers. When it remembers it is part of the ocean, it surrenders, and in that surrender, it finds peace. Now, think about your life. How many times have you lost sleep over someone's words? How many moments of joy have you destroyed because of pride, anger, or the need to be right? How many relationships have suffered because your ego would not let go? Imagine you are walking in a marketplace. A man shouts insults at you. You have two choices. You can shout back, defend yourself, prove that you are right. Or you can smile, walk away, and let his words disappear into the air. Which one brings peace? Which one is freedom? Do you see now? The more you fight for your ego, the more you suffer. The more you let go, the lighter you become. This is the lesson of the wise. They do not waste time proving their worth. They do not argue over small things. They do not hold grudges. They simply exist, like the wind, like the water, like the trees. But you may ask, if I let go, will people not walk over me? Will they not take advantage of me? No. Letting go does not mean weakness. It means power. True strength comes not from fighting every battle, but from knowing which battles are worth your energy. And most of them are not. Look around you. The people who are happiest are not those who constantly seek validation. They are not those who need to be admired, feared, or worshipped. They are those who are content with themselves, without the need for approval. So, ask yourself, who are you without your ego? Who are you without your desire to be seen, to be praised, to be important? Who are you when you simply let go? That is where true peace begins. Not in winning, not in proving, but in surrendering. Now, take a deep breath. Let go. You don't need to carry this burden anymore. The power of detachment, freeing yourself from social expectations. You hold a heavy bag in your hands. It is filled with stones, each one representing an expectation placed upon you. Some stones are given by society, some by your family, some by friends, and many by yourself. You carry this bag everywhere, feeling its weight, believing it is your duty to hold on to it. But what if I told you that you don't have to? What if I told you that you can set it down and walk freely? From the moment we are born, we are taught to live for others. We are told how to behave, what to believe, and who to become. We are praised when we follow the rules and judged when we stray from them. We seek approval without realizing it, shaping our actions to fit the expectations of those around us. But here's the truth, no matter how much you try, you will never fully satisfy everyone. And the harder you try, the more you lose yourself. Think about a time when you hesitated before making a decision. Maybe you wanted to take a different career path, but fear held you back. Maybe you wanted to express your true feelings, but the thought of judgment silenced you. How many moments have you lost, worrying about what others might say? How many dreams have you buried under the weight of their expectations? Detachment does not mean rejecting the world. It does not mean becoming cold or unfeeling. True detachment means understanding that your worth is not tied to the approval of others. It means living with a free mind, unchained from the invisible ropes of expectations. It is about choosing your own path, not the one others have drawn for you. Buddha once said, attachment is the root of suffering. But attachment is not just about material things, it is also about the need for validation. The desire to be liked, to be accepted, to be seen as successful, these are attachments too. And just like any attachment, They bring suffering when we hold onto them too tightly. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, looking at your reflection. Now, remove the labels society has placed on you. Take away the expectations, the opinions, the judgments. What remains? Just you. The real you, without the weight of other people's thoughts. This is who you truly are. This is who you must embrace. Think about a river flowing effortlessly. It does not resist. It does not try to impress the rocks or seek approval from the trees. It simply flows, moving where it is meant to go. This is how life should be, without the burden of unnecessary expectations. But when we hold on to what others think, we become like a dammed river, stuck and stagnant, unable to move freely. Ask yourself, who are you living for? Are your choices truly yours, or are they shaped by the fear of judgment? If today were your last day, would you regret living for others instead of for yourself? The moment you realize that you do not have to meet anyone's expectations, you begin to taste real freedom. Detachment is not about isolation. It is about liberation. It is about finding joy in being yourself without the constant need for approval. It is about understanding that the opinions of others are like passing clouds. They come, they go, but they do not change the sky. The sky remains vast, untouched, free. Many people fear detachment because they think it will make them indifferent. But true detachment allows you to love deeper, live fuller, and experience life with greater clarity. When you no longer seek validation, you connect with others out of genuine feeling, not out of need. You give without expecting. You love without fear. You exist without pretending. Think of the greatest minds, the wisest teachers, the strongest souls in history. Did they live to please others? Did they shape their lives based on society's fleeting opinions? No. They walked their own paths. They understood that real strength comes from within, not from the approval of others. You may wonder, how do I detach? Start small. Notice when you change your behavior because of what others might think. Observe the moments when fear of judgment stops you. Ask yourself, does this truly matter? With practice, you will see that most of these fears are illusions. They exist only in the mind. When you let go of the need to please, life becomes lighter. Conversations become real. Decisions become clearer. Happiness is no longer borrowed from others. It is created within. This is the power of detachment. This is what it means to live freely. Set down the heavy bag. Walk forward without it. The weight was never yours to carry. Silence in solitude. Finding strength in being alone. Do you know why people fear silence? Why they feel restless when they are alone? It is because, in silence, there is no distraction. There is no noise to drown out the thoughts they have been avoiding. When a person is alone, they come face to face with their true self. And for many, that is the most frightening thing of all. But solitude is not a punishment. It is not loneliness. It is a path to self-discovery. The greatest wisdom in life is found not in the noise of the world, but in the quiet moments when no one is watching and no one is speaking. In silence, you start to hear things that have always been there, your own thoughts, your own fears, your own truths. Think about this. When was the last time you sat alone without your phone, without music, without any distractions? Just you, sitting in silence, listening to nothing but your own breath. Most people cannot even last 5 minutes before they feel uncomfortable. They reach for something to fill the silence, to escape from themselves. But why? What are they running from? The world teaches you that being alone is something to be avoided. That if you are alone, something is wrong. But that is not true. The strongest people in history, monks, warriors, philosophers, have all embraced solitude. They understood that true strength does not come from being surrounded by people. It comes from being comfortable with yourself, even when no one else is around. When you are always surrounded by others, you absorb their thoughts, their emotions, their expectations. You start living for them, thinking like them, acting like them. You forget who you truly are. But when you spend time alone, you begin to see yourself clearly. You start to separate your own thoughts from the noise of the world. Silence teaches you patience. It teaches you to observe instead of react. When you are silent, you start noticing things, how people truly behave, the way the world moves, the emotions that pass through you. In the noise of daily life, you miss these details. But in silence, everything becomes clear. Many people talk just to fill the empty space. They speak without thinking, afraid of the quiet between words. But those who understand silence know that the most powerful words are the ones left unspoken. When you learn to be silent, your words carry more weight. People start to listen when you speak because they know your words are chosen carefully. Imagine two people arguing. One shouts, trying to prove their point. The other stays calm, silent, listening. Who holds the power? The one who does not waste their energy on empty words. The one who knows that silence is sometimes stronger than any argument. There is an old Zen saying, "Silence is a source of great strength." It is true. When you learn to be alone, to be quiet, you become unshakable. You no longer seek approval from others. You no longer depend on their opinions. You become complete within yourself. In Buddhism, silence is not just the absence of words. It is the presence of awareness. When a monk sits in meditation, they are not just sitting in silence. They are listening to their breath, to their body, to the movement of their mind. In that silence, they find understanding. Solitude is not about escaping the world. It is about reconnecting with yourself. When you embrace solitude, you start to realize that everything you were looking for outside, peace, clarity, strength, was always within you. But how can you start? How can you become comfortable with silence and solitude? Start small. Sit alone for just 5 minutes a day without distractions. No phone, no music, no talking. Just you and your breath. Watch your thoughts, but do not chase them. Let them pass like clouds in the sky. Then, slowly increase your time. Go for a walk alone, without any distractions. Observe the world without speaking, without reacting. Just watch. Listen to the sounds around you. Feel the air. Let yourself be present. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will resist. It will try to pull you back into the noise. But do not give in. Keep sitting. Keep listening. Soon, you will start to feel a change. Your mind will become clearer. Your thoughts will settle. You will feel a deep sense of calm that no amount of noise or company can give you. When you embrace solitude, you become free. Free from the opinions of others. Free from the fear of being alone. Free to think, to grow, to understand yourself in a way that most people never will. So do not fear silence. Do not fear solitude. They are not your enemies. They are your greatest teachers. Inner peace over external validation, the Buddhist approach. You spend your whole life seeking approval. From the moment you are a child, you are taught to please others, to make your parents proud, to be liked by your teachers, to fit in with your friends. As you grow older, this need for validation only deepens. You want to be admired, respected, and accepted. You chase compliments, recognition, and the feeling of being important in someone else's eyes. But have you ever stopped to ask, why? Why does the approval of others matter so much? Why does a single harsh word feel heavier than 100 kind ones? Why does rejection sting, even when it comes from someone who barely knows you? The truth is, you have been conditioned to seek happiness outside yourself. You have been taught that your worth depends on how others see you. If they praise you, you feel good. If they criticize you, you feel small. But what if you could break free from this? What if your peace didn't depend on others at all? Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain pours, and the world around you is in chaos. But you are still. You do not fight the storm. You do not beg it to stop. You simply stand, untouched. That is the power of inner peace. It is the ability to remain calm, no matter what is happening outside you. Buddhism teaches that true peace comes from within, not from compliments, not from status, not from being admired. These things are temporary. They change like the seasons. If your happiness depends on them, you will always be a prisoner, chained to the ever-shifting opinions of others. Think about a time when you received praise. Maybe someone admired your work, your looks, or your intelligence. It felt good, didn't it? But how long did it last? A few hours? A day? Then what happened? You wanted more. You needed more. Praise is like a drug. It gives you a high, but it never lasts. You always need another dose. Now think about a time you were criticized. Someone insulted you, judged you, or made you feel small. It hurt. It stayed in your mind, replaying over and over. But why? Because you gave it power. You let someone else's words define you. But tell me, who are they? What gives them the right to control your peace? A wise monk once said, if someone gives you a gift, but you refuse to accept it, to whom does the gift belong? The answer is simple, it still belongs to the giver. The same is true for insults and praise. If someone praises you, it is their opinion, not your truth. If someone insults you, it is their judgment, not your reality. You do not have to accept what they offer. You do not have to carry their words in your heart. So, how do you find peace within yourself? The first step is to stop looking outward. Stop measuring your worth by what others say. Stop seeking validation from people who are just as lost as you. Instead, turn inward. Ask yourself, who am I? Without the labels, without the opinions of others. Who am I, when I am alone, with nothing to prove? The Buddha taught that attachment is the root of suffering. And one of the greatest attachments is the need for approval. When you let go of this, you become free. You no longer chase after praise. You no longer fear criticism. You simply exist, at peace with yourself. Think about a river. It does not stop flowing just because someone throws a stone into it. It does not become upset or change its course. It continues, untouched. You must be like the river, flowing, unbothered, steady. The world will never stop talking. People will always have opinions. Some will love you. Some will hate you. Some will admire you today and forget you tomorrow. But none of it matters. Because at the end of the day, you are the only one who has to live with yourself. You are the only one who walks in your shoes, who faces your fears, who dreams your dreams. So why live for others? Why give them the power to control how you feel? When you find peace within, the outside world loses its grip on you. You are no longer swayed by praise or destroyed by criticism. You are simply yourself, free, unshaken, and at peace. That is the true power of inner peace. Understanding impermanence. Why nothing lasts forever. Sit down, close your eyes for a moment, and take a deep breath. The air that enters your lungs now will leave in a few seconds. The moment you just lived is already gone. Life is flowing, changing, moving, like a river that never stops. But the mind clings. It holds on to people, emotions, and memories, as if they will stay forever. Yet, everything you know, every person, every experience, every feeling, is temporary. This is the truth of impermanence. Think about your childhood. The places you once knew, the faces you once saw every day, how many of them are still the same? The friends you promised to stay connected with, the dreams you once had, the fears that kept you awake at night. Where are they now? They have changed, faded, disappeared. This is the nature of everything. Nothing remains as it is. When you understand this deeply, suffering begins to loosen its grip. The pain of loss, the fear of change, the anxiety about the future, all of it comes from one illusion, the belief that things should stay the same. But nothing does. The tree that stands tall today will one day be a pile of dust. The storm that rages in the sky will eventually calm. The person who hurt you yesterday might be gone tomorrow. And you too are changing every second. Look at the emotions inside you. One day you are happy, the next day you are sad. One morning you feel strong, by evening you feel weak. Have you ever noticed how quickly your mind shifts from one state to another? And yet, we cling. We hold on to happiness, fearing it will go away. We hold on to pain, fearing we will never heal. But happiness and pain are like waves. They rise, they fall. They come, they go. The more you resist this natural rhythm, the more you suffer. Imagine standing in the ocean, trying to stop the waves with your hands. The harder you push, the more exhausted you become. But if you simply float, let the water carry you, you move effortlessly. Life is no different. When you fight impermanence, you drown in suffering. When you accept it, you float with peace. Many people fear losing what they love. They fear aging, they fear being forgotten, they fear death. But think, would you truly appreciate something if it lasted forever? Would a sunset be as beautiful if the sky never turned dark? Would a song move your heart if it played endlessly? It is the very nature of endings that makes life precious. The flower blooms, knowing it will wilt. The river flows, knowing it will dry. The sun rises, knowing it will set. And still, they do not resist. There was once a man who came to the Buddha, crying over the loss of his loved one. He asked, "Why must we suffer loss?" The Buddha replied, "If you love, you must accept loss. If you are attached, you must accept change. This is the nature of all things." The man listened but did not understand. So the Buddha gave him a task. Go to every house in the village and find a family who has never experienced loss. Bring me a handful of mustard seeds from that house. The man searched for days, but every home had known sorrow, had lost someone, had faced change. He returned empty-handed but with a new understanding. No one escapes impermanence. No one can hold on forever. So why live in fear of the inevitable? Why waste your energy resisting something that is part of life? Let go of the idea that things should always be the same. Let go of the belief that happiness must last forever or that pain will never leave. See life for what it is, a flowing river, a passing breeze, a dance of constant change. If you feel heartbroken, remember, this feeling will not last. If you feel lost, know that this moment is temporary. If you feel stuck, understand that life is always moving, even when you cannot see it. Nothing is permanent, not your struggles, not your fears, not even you. And this is not a tragedy. It is freedom. The day you accept impermanence is the day you stop clinging. You stop overthinking. You stop fearing the unknown. You start living not for tomorrow, not for the past, but for this moment. Because this moment is all you ever truly have. So take another breath. Feel it enter, feel it leave. Watch your thoughts come and go. Notice the world around you, always changing, always moving. And instead of resisting, let it be. Let yourself be part of this flow. Because once you embrace impermanence, you will find something greater than control. You will find peace. The middle path, balancing self-interest and compassion. Sit down. Take a deep breath. Let go of everything for a moment. There is something important I must tell you. You have spent too much time thinking about others, what they will say, how they will react, what they expect from you. And when you finally try to focus on yourself, guilt pulls you back. You wonder, am I being selfish? You feel stuck, lost between caring too much about others and trying to live for yourself. But what if I told you that there is a way to live without this struggle? A way to exist in peace, without guilt, without fear, without regret? The answer lies in the middle path. Buddha taught that extremes lead to suffering. If you live only for others, you will lose yourself. If you live only for yourself, you will feel empty. The middle path is not about choosing between selflessness and selfishness. It is about balancing the two, walking the fine line where both coexist in harmony. Think about a tree. A tree does not give all its fruits at once, nor does it refuse to give it all. It provides shade, but it does not bend until it breaks. It stands tall, firm in its roots, but still flexible enough to sway with the wind. This is the middle path. You do not have to sacrifice yourself for others, nor do you have to shut yourself off from the world. You must learn when to give and when to hold back, when to listen and when to speak, when to help and when to step away. This is wisdom. But how do you walk this path in real life? Let me show you. Imagine someone comes to you with a problem. They need your help, your time, your energy. Your heart tells you to be kind, to support them. But deep down, you know that helping them will drain you. You will suffer, but you do it anyway. Why? Because you feel guilty saying no. Now imagine another situation. You are so focused on your own needs that you ignore others completely. You never help, never care, never give. Eventually, you find yourself alone, disconnected from the world. Both of these extremes will bring suffering. One will exhaust you, the other will isolate you. The middle path is understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you're tired, if you're struggling, if you need space, it is okay to say no. And when you are in a position to help, when you have the strength, then you can give without hesitation. Buddha once told a story about a musician. A student asked, "Master, how should I practice mindfulness?" Buddha replied, "How does a musician tune his instrument? If the strings are too tight, they will snap. If they are too loose, they will not play. Balance is the key. Life is the same. If you give too much, you will break. If you give too little, you will lose your connection to others." Many people misunderstand Buddhism. They think it teaches detachment as isolation, that you must remove yourself from the world and feel nothing. But true detachment is not about shutting down emotions. It is about understanding them, mastering them, and not letting them control you. Let's take another example. Imagine you are holding a rope. If you pull too hard, it burns your hands. If you let go completely, it falls to the ground. The right way is to hold it firmly, but gently. This is how you must handle relationships, responsibilities, and your own desires. There is no need to choose between yourself and others. You can walk a path where you respect your own needs while still being kind. You can be strong without being cold, gentle without being weak. So what should you do when someone demands too much of you? You must ask yourself, am I helping because I want to, or because I am afraid of their reaction? If the answer is fear, step back. If the answer is love, then give without regret. And what if you feel guilty for taking care of yourself? Remember this. Taking care of yourself is not selfishness, it is survival. A candle that is burned out can light no others. You must keep your flame alive. In life, you will meet people who take advantage of your kindness. You will also meet those who truly appreciate it. The key is to recognize the difference. Do not be so blinded by guilt that you cannot see when you are being used. But also, do not be so hardened by past pain that you close your heart completely. Think about the ocean. It allows the waves to rise and fall, yet it remains vast and deep. Your emotions will come and go, people will enter and leave your life. But if you stay centered, nothing can shake you. The middle path is not a place you reach. It is a way of walking. It is the art of knowing when to hold on and when to let go. It is the wisdom of knowing that sometimes, the best way to care for others is to care for yourself first. Now, close your eyes. Take another deep breath. Feel the balance within you. Let go of the need to please everyone. Let go of the fear of being alone. Trust yourself. Walk your path with confidence. You are not here to live in guilt or fear. You are here to live in balance. And when you find this balance, you will know true peace. Breaking free from overthinking. Practical Buddhist techniques. Sit down. Take a deep breath. Let everything slow down for a moment. Your mind is always running, isn't it? One thought after another, like waves crashing onto the shore, constant, restless, never-ending. You replay past mistakes, you fear the future, you analyze every little detail. But tell me, has all this thinking ever truly helped you? Has it ever brought you peace? The truth is, the more you think, the more you suffer. The mind is a tricky thing. It convinces you that thinking more will lead to answers, that worrying will protect you from pain, that analyzing everything will give you control. But in reality, it only traps you in a cycle of fear, regret, and self-doubt. You don't need to think more. You need to think less. You need to see thoughts for what they truly are, just passing clouds in the sky. Imagine you are sitting by a river. The water flows endlessly, carrying leaves, twigs, and debris. These are your thoughts. You can try to grab them, hold on to them, control them, but the river never stops. It keeps flowing. And the more you fight it, the more exhausted you become. Now, what happens if you simply watch? What if you let the river flow without trying to control it? Suddenly, there is no struggle. This is the way of the mind. You don't need to stop thinking. You just need to stop attaching yourself to every thought. Overthinking is nothing but attachment to thoughts. You believe that your thoughts are reality, but they are not. They are just stories your mind tells you. A problem arises, and your mind creates 1,000 different scenarios. What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? What if I fail? But most of these things will never happen. The only thing happening right now is this moment, and this moment is all you ever truly have. So, how do you break free from overthinking? You must learn to observe. Not react, not analyze, just observe. When a thought comes, don't fight it, don't chase it, don't judge it. Just notice it and let it go. Like a leaf floating down the river, it will pass. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. Another way to free yourself is through breath. Your breath is always in the present moment. It never exists in the past or future. Right now, take a deep breath in. Hold it. Now let it out. Do you feel that? In that single breath, there was no past, no future, no worry, just presence. The more you return to your breath, the more you return to the now. And in the now, there is no overthinking. There is only peace. The body and mind are deeply connected. Have you noticed that when you overthink, your body becomes tense? Your shoulders tighten, your chest feels heavy, your stomach knots up. But when you relax your body, the mind follows. Try this. Whenever you feel trapped in thought, bring your awareness to your body. Loosen your shoulders, relax your jaw, unclench your fists. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the air on your skin. This simple act brings you back to reality, back to what is actually happening, instead of getting lost in thoughts of what might happen. Attachment is the root of suffering, and overthinking is just another form of attachment. You attach yourself to outcomes, to fears, to regrets. But nothing in life is permanent. Everything changes, everything moves. The things you worry about today will mean nothing in a few years. Even the things that seem so important now will fade with time. So why waste your peace over things that won't even last? There is this saying, you should sit in meditation for 20 minutes every day, unless you are too busy. Then you should sit for an hour. The busier your mind, the more stillness you need. Meditation is not about stopping thoughts. It is about realizing that thoughts don't control you. Every morning, before the world rushes in, take a few minutes to sit in silence. Watch your thoughts as if they belong to someone else. The more you do this, the more you will understand that thoughts are just passing visitors, not masters of your mind. You don't have to live inside your head all the time. There is a whole world outside of your thoughts. Have you ever noticed how beautiful the sky looks when you are not lost in worry? How fresh the air feels when you are not trapped in endless thinking? Life is happening all around you, but you miss it because you are too busy living inside your own mind. Step out. Feel the wind, hear the birds, touch the earth beneath your feet. The more you connect with the world, the less you drown in thoughts. Overthinking is like being lost in a fog. The more you try to find your way out, the more confused you become. But the moment you stop struggling, the fog begins to lift. Clarity comes not from thinking more, but from thinking less. From trusting that you don't need all the answers right now. From understanding that life unfolds in its own time. Ask yourself, what if you just let go? What if you stop trying to control everything? Stop trying to predict every outcome? What if you trusted that everything will be okay, even if you don't know how? That is the real secret. That is freedom. You are not here to be a prisoner of your own thoughts. You are here to live, to breathe, to feel, to experience life fully. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. But this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, is real. And in this moment, you have everything you need. So let go. Breathe. Be here. And watch how peace finds you when you stop searching for it. Living for yourself. How to cultivate true self-worth. Sit with me for a moment. Take a deep breath. Let go of everything that is pulling you in different directions. Let go of what they think, what they say, what they expect. Just be here, as you are. Because in the end, the only person who will walk every step of this journey with you is you. For so long, you have lived your life through the eyes of others. You have shaped yourself to fit their expectations. You have tried to be likable, acceptable, and worthy in their eyes. And yet, no matter what you do, it never feels enough. Why? Because when you live for others, you abandon yourself. And when you abandon yourself, nothing feels fulfilling. Do you remember the first time you hesitated to speak your truth? The first time you held back your opinion because you were afraid of judgment? The first time you dressed, spoke, or behaved a certain way, not because it was you, but because it was what others wanted? These small moments stack up, and before you know it, you have become a version of yourself that is not yours. You might think, if I stop caring about others, won't I become selfish? No. True selfishness is pretending to be someone you're not just to please others. True selfishness is living a life of constant worry about how you are perceived. But when you start living for yourself, you do not hurt others, you simply stop hurting yourself. Think of a bird. It does not ask if the sky approves before it flies. It does not shrink its wings because someone might be watching. It simply spreads them and takes off. That is how you are meant to live, not looking around for permission, but rising because it is in your nature to rise. There is a moment in every person's life when they realize they have been waiting for approval, waiting for the right time, waiting for someone to tell them that they are good enough. But no one is coming. No one is going to hand you permission to be yourself. Because that permission, it has always been yours to give. How much of your life has been spent trying to fit in? How many times have you changed your words, your actions, your dreams, just to match what others expect? And yet, the truth is, people will always have opinions. No matter what you do, they will find something to judge. If you succeed, they will say you're lucky. If you fail, they will say they saw it coming. If you do nothing, they will still have something to say. So why waste your life trying to please those who will never be fully pleased? You have a limited time in this world. Every moment spent worrying about others is a moment stolen from yourself. Every decision made out of fear is a step away from your true path. And if you do not live for yourself now, then when? There is a teaching in Buddhism that says, when you do not seek approval, you are free. Imagine that freedom. Waking up and choosing what makes you happy. Walking into a room without wondering what they think of you. Speaking your truth without fear. This is not arrogance. This is not rebellion. This is simply returning to yourself. Many people think that self-worth comes from what they achieve, how others see them, or what they own. But true self-worth is quiet. It does not need validation. It does not need attention. It is knowing, deep in your bones, that you are enough, not because of what you have, but because of who you are. Think of a tree standing tall in the forest. It does not ask for approval. It does not compare itself to the trees beside it. It does not shrink because another tree is taller. It simply grows, reaching toward the sky, because that is its nature. Be like the tree. Stand firm in who you are. Grow in your own direction. And know that you do not need to prove your worth to anyone. So, how do you start living for yourself? It begins with small choices. Saying no when something does not feel right. Saying yes when your heart calls for it. Removing yourself from places that drain you. Surrounding yourself with people who respect your truth. Taking time to listen to what you truly want, beyond the noise of expectations. At first, it will feel unfamiliar. You have spent so long following the path others have drawn for you that walking your own feels strange. You will hear voices in your mind, voices of doubt, fear, hesitation. But remember this, those voices are not you. They are echoes of years spent trying to fit in. And the more you choose yourself, the quieter they will become. One day, you will wake up and realize you are free. You are no longer weighed down by the need to impress, to be liked, to meet endless expectations. You will feel light, as if you have been carrying a heavy burden all your life and have finally set it down. This is what it means to live for yourself. Some will misunderstand you. Some will call you selfish. But the right people, the ones who truly matter, will respect you. And most importantly, you will respect you. Life is too short to be lived for others. So take a deep breath. Step forward and choose yourself. Stop seeking approval, the power of inner confidence. There was once a young man who lived his whole life chasing approval. Every decision he made was based on one question: what will people think? When he spoke, he worried about sounding foolish. When he dressed, he feared looking out of place. When he pursued his dreams, he held back, wondering if others would judge him. And so, his life was not his own. It was shaped by the expectations of others. Now, tell me, do you see yourself in him? Have you ever hesitated, held back, or changed yourself just to be accepted? If so, you are not alone. Almost everyone, at some point, has fallen into the trap of seeking approval. It is human nature. We want to be liked. We want to belong. But what happens when this desire controls your life? You become a prisoner. A prisoner of opinions, a prisoner of expectations, a prisoner of fear. Look around. How many people live this way? They wear masks, hiding their true selves. They say what others want to hear, not what they truly believe. They choose paths that please society, not the ones that make them happy. And the saddest part? They spend their entire lives like this, never realizing they were never truly living. But today, I tell you enough. Enough living for others. Enough seeking approval. Enough waiting for permission to be yourself. Do you know why? Because no one's opinion can ever define you. No amount of approval can ever complete you. No validation can ever make you truly happy. Happiness does not come from the outside. It comes from within. And confidence? Confidence is not given by others. It is something you build yourself. Think of a river. It does not stop flowing because someone dislikes the way it moves. It does not change its course to please others. It simply flows. Strong, steady, and free. That is how you must be. But how do you reach that level of confidence? How do you stop seeking approval? First, understand this. People's opinions change like the wind. Today, they praise you. Tomorrow, they criticize you. If you rely on their words, your confidence will always be unstable. Do not let their voices control your peace. Second, realize that most people are too busy thinking about themselves. You may believe they are constantly watching and judging you, but the truth is, they are not. They are trapped in their own minds, worrying about their own lives. And even if they do judge you, it is temporary. They will forget. So why spend your life trying to impress people who will not even remember your name in a few years? Third, know that true confidence comes from action. If you always wait for approval, you will never act. You will never take risks. You will never grow. Confidence is built by doing, by failing, by learning. The more you do, the less you fear. Fourth, accept that not everyone will like you, and that is perfectly fine. Even the greatest minds in history had critics. Buddha, Socrates, even those who brought wisdom to the world were judged. So why should you expect to be exempt from judgment? Fifth, remind yourself every day, I am enough. Say it. Believe it. You do not need validation to be worthy. You do not need approval to have value. You are already complete. Think of the sun. It shines without asking for permission. It does not dim its light to make others comfortable. It does not apologize for being bright. And yet, it gives life, warmth, and energy to the world. That is how you must be. But I know letting go of the need for approval is not easy. It takes time. It takes practice. So start small. Speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. Choose the path that feels right, even if others do not understand. Walk with confidence, even if no one claps for you. One day, you will wake up and realize you are free. Free from expectations, free from judgment, free from the need to be accepted. And that day, you will truly live. Now, I have one request for you. If this message has touched your heart, if you have found even a small spark of strength in these words, then do not keep it to yourself. Share this wisdom. Help others break free from the chains of approval. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribed. If you want more wisdom like this, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And most importantly, drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me, what is one thing you will do today, not for approval, but for yourself? Your journey to true confidence begins now. No more waiting. No more seeking. Just being. And that is enough. Mastering detachment. Let go and find true peace. There is something I must tell you. Something that, once understood, will change everything. You have been holding on for too long. Holding on to thoughts, to people, to fears, to expectations. But what if I told you that peace is not found in holding on? It is found in letting go. Imagine standing in a river. The water flows around you, moving forward without hesitation. You reach out, trying to grab the water, to hold it in your hands. But no matter how tightly you grasp, it slips through your fingers. This is life. The more you try to hold on, the more it escapes you. The more you try to control everything, the more frustrated you become. But when you let go, when you allow the water to flow, without resistance, you realize something. Peace is not in control. Peace is in surrender. For so long, you have been attached. Attached to how things should be. Attached to people's opinions. Attached to the idea that life must go a certain way for you to be happy. And every time reality does not match your expectations, you suffer. But ask yourself, who created these expectations? Who decided that things must happen a certain way? It was you. You trapped yourself in a prison of your own making. And now, it is time to break free. People spend their lives chasing happiness, thinking they will find it in success, in love, in validation. But happiness is not something you chase. It is something you allow. And it only comes when you stop resisting life. When you stop clinging to things that are out of your control. Detachment is not about being cold. It is not about avoiding emotions or shutting people out. Detachment means you experience life fully, but without being controlled by it. You love, but you do not cling. You care, but you do not depend. You act, but you do not obsess over the outcome. You simply let life be. Look at nature. The tree does not cling to its leaves. When the season changes, the leaves fall, and the tree remains standing. The river does not cling to its water. It flows freely, knowing that new water will always come. The sky does not cling to the clouds. It allows them to pass, knowing they will return. And yet, humans cling to everything: past mistakes, lost relationships, temporary emotions. They refuse to let things go, and in doing so, they create their own suffering. Tell me, how many times have you been hurt by holding on? How many sleepless nights have you spent replaying something that has already passed? How many times have you let a single negative comment ruin your entire day? Do you see what is happening? You are allowing things outside of you to control your inner peace. But peace does not come from the outside. It comes from within. In the moment you understand this, you become unshakable. You see, everything in life is temporary. Every moment, every feeling, every experience, it all changes. Nothing stays the same. And yet, people live as if things are permanent. They attach to things as if they will last forever. But tell me, has anything in your life truly lasted forever? Even the strongest emotions fade. Even the most painful wounds heal. Even the people you once thought you could not live without have become memories. This is the nature of life. And when you accept this, you stop fearing change. Detachment is freedom. When you stop attaching to every little thing, you stop being controlled by them. Someone insults you? You do not react, because their words are just sounds in the air. Someone leaves you? You do not break, because you understand that people come and go like seasons. You fail at something? You do not fall into despair, because you know that failure is just a step toward growth. Imagine carrying a rope. The more you pull, the more it burns your hands. And yet, people keep pulling, keep holding on, keep resisting. But what happens when you let go? The pain stops. The suffering ends. This is what detachment feels like. It is not about losing. It is about freeing yourself from unnecessary pain. Now, you may ask, if I detach, does that mean I stop caring? No. It means you stop being controlled by caring too much. You still love, but you do not let love destroy you. You still work hard, but you do not tie your happiness to success. You still engage with the world, but you do not let the world dictate your peace. Detachment is not about running away from life. It is about living life fully, without fear. When you detach, you are no longer a prisoner of your thoughts. You do not waste energy overthinking the past or worrying about the future. You live in the present. And the present is the only place where true peace exists. Think of the sky. No matter what happens below, whether there is sunshine or a storm, the sky remains untouched. It watches, it observes, but it does not hold on to anything. Be like the sky. Let life pass through you, but do not let it consume you. Now, I want you to reflect on this. What are you holding on to right now? What is causing your suffering? And is it truly worth it? Or are you simply afraid to let go? Because the truth is, once you let go, you will see how light life becomes. You will wonder why you ever carried so much weight in the first place. You have the power to be free. Not tomorrow, not one day, but now, right now. All it takes is one choice. A choice to stop clinging. A choice to trust life. A choice to let go. Because in the end, what is meant for you will stay. And what is not meant for you will go. No amount of force, worry, or control can change that. So why waste energy fighting what is already written? Breathe. Release. Trust. and watch how life unfolds exactly as it should. Final realization: detach, focus, and live freely. You have come a long way. You have listened, reflected, and perhaps even questioned the way you have been living. Now, it is time to understand the final truth. The truth that can set you free. For so long, you have worried. Worried about what people think. Worried about being liked. Worried about making mistakes, saying the wrong thing, or not being enough. But tell me, where has all this worry led you? Has it brought you happiness? Has it given you peace? Or has it only trapped you in a cycle of endless overthinking? Look around. Life is passing by. Days turn into nights, seasons change, and before you even realize it, years are gone. Yet, so many people spend this short life trapped in their minds, afraid of judgment, chasing approval, trying to please those who do not even care. But today, I ask you, who are you living for? Imagine carrying a heavy bag. You have been carrying it for years. Inside, there are stones, each one representing a worry, a regret, an expectation. Some stones were placed there by society, telling you how to behave. Some were given by family, telling you what you should become. Some were handed by strangers, whose opinions you once thought mattered. And the heaviest ones? They were placed by you, your own self-doubt, your own fears. Now, tell me, how far can you walk with this burden? How long will you carry something that is not even yours to carry? Drop the bag. Right now. Drop it. Do you feel that? That is freedom. That is the weight lifting off your shoulders. That is what it means to detach. Detachment does not mean isolation. It does not mean you stop caring about everything. It simply means you stop being controlled by things that do not matter. It means you stop living for validation. It means you stop allowing the outside world to dictate your inner peace. You see, people are too busy thinking about themselves. Even when they judge you, it is temporary. They will forget. They will move on. They will get caught up in their own lives. The only person who carries your worries for a lifetime is you. So why do you choose to suffer? Buddha once said, attachment is the root of suffering. It is not the world that hurts you, it is your attachment to it. You attach to opinions, to expectations, to fears. And each attachment is like a rope, tying you down, restricting your movement. But what happens when you cut the rope? You are free. Freedom is not something you get from the world. It is something you create within yourself. A mind that is free does not chase approval. A mind that is free does not fear rejection. A mind that is free simply lives. So, how do you live freely? First, let go of the illusion that you are at the center of everyone's attention. You are not. People do not think about you as much as you believe. They are too busy thinking about themselves. Second, understand that opinions are just words carried by the wind. Today, someone praises you. Tomorrow, they criticize you. If you depend on their words, your happiness will always be unstable. Do not be a leaf blown by the wind. Be the tree that stands firm, no matter the storm. Third, accept that you cannot control everything. Not the past, not the future, not people's thoughts. The only thing you can control is your own mind. Train it. Make it strong. When you master your mind, you master your life. Fourth, live in the present. The past is a memory. The future is unknown. But this moment, it is real. Do not waste it worrying about what others think. Do not waste it regretting. Do not waste it at all. And finally, remember, you are enough. You do not need permission to be yourself. You do not need approval to be happy. You do not need validation to exist. You are already whole. The moment you stop seeking from the outside, you discover everything you need was always within you. Now, before we end this journey, I have a simple request for you. If this message resonated with you, if you feel even a small shift in your thinking, then let's make this wisdom reach more people. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribed. If you found value here, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And most importantly, drop your thoughts in the comments. Let us know, what was the one lesson that truly stayed with you? The path to freedom starts now, not tomorrow, not later. Now, detach, focus, and live freely. Your life is waiting. Will you take the first step?